This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
There's just one place to celebrate our happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Plus last chance savings on a 2024 RDX. $379 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The lost city of Atlantis reveals its secrets at Toyota of Hollywood. Get legendary deals on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a 2024 Corolla, not $24,000, $20,988. Unlock the wonders of 0% financing for 5 full years, 0 down. Rediscover Atlantis at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The game is final. Tua and the boys are in the locker room. Let's go over what happened in this game in our Dolphins post-game show with Big O. The post-game show is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, Toyota of Hollywood, RM Contractors. The stats are final. The insiders are ready. The platform is mastered by the one and only Sean Stanley. Now, let's find out what the Big O thinks about this matchup as we start our Dolphins post-game show. Here's Big O.
Wow, we got to win, man. You know, listen, you know, it's beggars can't be choosy. It's what I got to tell you. You know, beggars cannot be choosy, and we were just begging for a win. We were begging for anything. We will take a win any way possible, okay? It doesn't matter. We will do whatever it takes. Bad calls by the referees, bad calls by the opponent, lucky plays by our team, or decent play or whatever. We'll take it any way we can get it. I saw somebody on the chat board because there's a whole bunch of people already and they're all chiming in. And one guy says, I missed Tua. We all missed Tua. But anyway, it wasn't pretty. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit here. Look, man, we're all in the same boat. We're all Dolphin fans. We love the team, all that good stuff. But we weren't expecting, you know, perfection. We weren't expecting Marino to all of a sudden his spirit to climb into Tyler Huntley's, you know, soul and start like throwing the ball all over the place. None of us really expected anything really glamorous right now. We weren't expecting anything really foundational, you know, although the game-winning drive, wow, they actually ran the ball. I mean, on that drive, not only did they run it, what was it, like 7 straight times, but they ran it a whole bunch of times. And it's just like, wow, what a concept, you know? But anyway, well, you know, that'll be part of the story. But it's just one of those deals where we just wanted a victory. And, you know, hitting goalpost and bad snaps and terrible passes and drop passes and missed tackles and missed assignments and penalties and penalties and penalties and mistakes and mistakes and mistakes and misuse of the clock and misuse of this, you know, but they found the way to, they won. They luckily they were playing a team that is worse than them, because the Dolphins really aren't that bad. It's just that they're led by a coach that has no idea. And today, the players won in spite of Mike McDaniel, in spite of Danny Crossman. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Mike McDaniel did not really help you in this, except maybe that he stuck with the run at one point. And they used Jonnu Smith more today. Holy shit. I would imagine the front office is going, wow, guys, he's actually using the tight end now that we signed, you know, because they spent money on Gesicki. He didn't use him. And then he wasn't using Jonnu Smith either. And it was like, well, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? And wow, Jonnu Smith was part of it. It makes life easy for a quarterback to use the tight end. What a concept. Run the ball. What a concept. Like, elementary things. And remember, I told you throughout the week that I wonder if somebody had a come to Jesus type of conversation with McDaniel, because when McDaniel came into that press conference, he basically said everything is on the table. And there was a little bit of a change here where at least there was more of a focus on using the tight ends, on using the running backs, right? More high percentage stuff. I didn't see enough from Huntley, which I think, you can't count on his arm. He's going to hit a couple because he's an athlete, but he's not a passer. And he's proven that over and over and over again that he's a very mediocre passer. That's the only thing that I would say that I am not satisfied. Well, there's a lot of things I'm not satisfied with, but that right away with, at least with Huntley, I would have him run a little more. I would actually, but hey, man, again, there's so much to pick apart from this game, so much bad stuff. There's good stuff too, because I mean, how the hell do you not admire Zach Sealer and his effort, man? You know what I'm saying? You just got to love Zach Sealer. So, there are moments from different players that you can admire today. Jalen Wright, it was nice to have Mostert back, and Jalen Wright was absolutely the bomb today. So there are things. Jonnu Smith, wow, okay, finally, this is why you brought him here, to use him. There are things that, you have to admire and like, and you root for, obviously, and you root for the W, man. You've got to love the W, because this makes Tua's life it's not going to be easy. It's not, there's nothing guaranteed. There's no, they're definitely making the playoffs. And no, it's not about that. It's just that when he comes back, you can't force the young man to have to be perfect and win every game, because as we've now learned, right, Tua's better than what you think he is. Okay, when you see how bad Mike McDaniel is, for you Tua haters out there, man, you can pick on his injury history, his fragility, all of those things. That is all legit, and that's always been there. It's always been there. Okay, but if you deny his play after watching the coaching that's going on and how he lifts the coaching and the entire offense, you're an idiot already at this point. Like, if you deny that this kid can't play, but you think about it, if you're well supported as a quarterback and you have the proper running game and the proper offensive line and the proper calls, then Tua will be even better. He has to overcome the shit that he has and still does a hell of a job, just like he did before when he had even less with Flo, and he still overcame it and won more than he lost. I think you need to appreciate the player, the passer, way more now than you ever have, because now you see how inept Mike McDaniel is, because he is as inept as it gets. This is some of the worst coaching we have ever seen. Yeah, and Julian Hill, Zach Morgan, you are correct, sir. It's just way too many penalties. He has no business being on the field anymore, because he's too much of a detriment to your team. He doesn't help you enough for you to play him that much. He hurts you more than he helps you, unfortunately. No doubt about that. We will have Chris Perkins and David Furones from the locker rooms. We will keep you updated on anything and everything going on, of course, with the Dolphins out of the locker rooms and anything else. Let me see, what else do we have here? Zach Sealer, according to Adam Beasley, had 3 of the Dolphins' 9 quarterback hits. Jalen Ramsey had 2 of the Dolphins' 6 pass breakups. He also, made some mistakes too. Larry Zonka says, well, that's a win. We'll take it, but no question, we have to step it up on fundamentals. Practice. Amen to that. What else do we have? Jalen Wright, by the way, ended up with 13 for 86. And Mostert, he ended up with 19 for 80. So they actually had some success on the ground. What a shocker. See, that's why I tell you we can complain about the offensive line. We can complain about the defensive line. We can complain about this, that, all that other stuff. But if you had a real coach, you'd be 4-1 right now. I hate to say it. Worst case scenario, you'd be 3-2. Worst case scenario. Okay. So, let's just be real. Let's be honest here. You won the first game because Etienne made a stupid mistake with the fumble in the end zone. That's the only reason why you won. It's not because your team was better that day. And then today, your team won because your players were given the opportunity to play football, and they outplayed the Patriots just by lining up and punching them in the mouth and running the ball down their throats. Simple football. The kind of football that Dave Wannstedt would have won. You know how screwed up that is? That I got to tell you that Dave Wannstedt would have at least another victory, because Dave Wannstedt would have done what he was supposed to do the last couple of weeks. He would have run the ball. He would have thrown to the tight end and to the running backs. He would have kept it as close as he can, right around the line of scrimmage. He would have made it as easy as he can. He wouldn't have been throwing crazy shit downfield or anything like that. And he would have tried to play tough defense, which is what you needed to do in this situation with the Tyler Huntley. And you failed for several weeks until this week and it took you a while to finally get to that point where you like, okay, let's run. Luckily, he didn't stop in the middle of that whole thing and stop running the ball, because that's what he would normally do. Remember, Cash App or Venmo to make a donation to the program, which we always appreciate, keeps us alive, just like visiting our amazing sponsors, hitting the like button, so many different ways to contribute to the program. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. You can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which we love those as always. You can use the QR code there for Venmo. We also have Cash App. Show them the QR code there, Sean. There's the QR code for Cash App. So you can use either or. We appreciate the super chats, because always appreciate it, but stinking YouTube takes 30%. So that's why we tell you Cash App or Venmo, because we get it all there. Okay. Let me get to Cash App or Venmo first and foremost here. And let's get to some of the folks there that are chiming in on Cash App or Venmo. Where are we at? Okay. First of all, Anthony Lizzie, thank you, sir. McDaniel finally started running the ball at the end, and we snuck this one out. Ugly, but we'll take it and wait for Tua to come back. Amen. Arizona game is when Tua's coming back for sure. And thank you, Anthony Lizzie, sir. Peter German, thank you, as always, for your amazing dedication. Take the win. Pretty awful to get 15 against the Pats. I'll take it, man. We have to overcome bad coaching. And that's why we need Tua more than ever now, because this guy he's nothing on the sidelines, bro. He's a nothing burger. McDaniel finally decided to call plays downfield. Still needs to be fired. Crossman and special teams almost cost us another game. Again, I don't know why Danny Crossman is employed. I don't know why he's been employed for a couple of years now. I would have fired him 2 years ago. And I have no idea why he is still in a professional with the Miami Dolphins. Robert B., thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Sloppy, but I will give McD a bit of credit. He did simplify the game plan. Yeah, he did. And ran the ball in the fourth quarter. Now fire Crossman going into the bye week. Seen enough of him. Robert in Denver. I agree. I saw enough of him 2 years ago. I have no idea why he's still around. Joe Cracchiola, thank you, sir, as always, for the love on Venmo. Pound the rock, we'll take the W, but as Captain Obvious would say, this team is not good. Love the show. Yeah, but again, I don't think we would be complaining nearly as much as if they had a real coach. And to me, that's the real problem with all of this, is that they don't have a real coach. This coach is as bogus as it gets, unfortunately. Let's see, what else do we have here? The Whip Guru. Thank you, sir, on Cash App. Thank you. Giovanni on YouTube. He is saying, okay, I will put 1 and 1 together. Thank you, Giovanni. I appreciate you, and thank you for making the effort on going on Cash App. We appreciate that as always. Thank you. Let me see. Super Chats. Sean, let's get to the Super Chats. Vinny Lenya finally committed to running the ball. It is baffling stuff to watch the things that Mike McDaniel does that lack all common sense. And when the run is working, like it was in Buffalo or in Green Bay or several other games that we can point out, and he just flat out abandons it, it pisses me off. Today, he didn't necessarily act like the smartest guy in the room, and he kind of simplified things and kept it a little bit more manageable. You know what I'm saying? And he let the kid throw a couple times, but you just can't throw too much with him because you're going to get in trouble. Next up, Vinny, do we give McDaniel credit for sticking with the run? I mean, yes, we give him credit, but the fact that it's taking you into year 3, you know what I'm saying? I'll give you credit to a certain extent because today at least they won the game, but I'm not impressed, dude. You should have been doing this a while back. It's common sense. If you know it and I know it, it's embarrassing that he doesn't. Next up. Manny J. Snow, thank you, sir. I'm so done with the behind the line of scrimmage pass calls, Big O, especially with a green QB that only been there for 2 freaking weeks. I mean, sometimes he does some of that stupid shit. Today, there was a lot of stupid shit that they overcame and still won. And that's lucky because they were playing New England. That's all. Next up. Kevin Beal, thank you, sir. Mostert and our rookie running back won this game. And the line had several times had good blocks, even though they all made mistakes. You know what I'm saying? But they all had their moments in blocking too at the same time. I'll go back and look at it, but in watching it quickly, I can pick out moments that even Eichenberg had. And Eichenberg had a couple screw-ups in this game. Okay, his center had a couple screw-ups in the game. You know what I mean? Austin Jackson had a screw-up in this game. I mean, it went around. It went around, but they also had their moments too. So we got to give them a little love there. Mostert and our rookie won this game. On a side note, Josh Allen gets knocked out and comes in a few plays later, but I'm sure he won't miss time. No. Let's go. Next up, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you. Okay. All right. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. True FinFan says, guys, there's no improvement by McDaniel. We played a horrible team with a horrible backup and a rookie head coach. McDaniel with these weapons, 15 points. He sucks. Yeah, he sucks. The True FinFan, the bar is so low for McDaniel, so freaking low that we celebrate the one brain fart moment that he stuck with the run. That's how low the bar is for McDaniel. That's sad, bro. Sad. It's pathetic. I mean, the game was pathetic. Let's be honest. It was a pathetic game. It was, I mean, you want pathetic? Read the stats to this game. I was looking at it before I got on, okay? You look at these stats. All right. Here we go. 372 yards for Miami, 299 for New England. Total plays 55 for New England, 75 for Miami. You think about all the yards, all the plays. You held the ball for 34 minutes and you produced 15 points. You had a total of 105 penalty yards for New England and 54 for Miami. Okay, New England had double of your penalty yards and you beat them by 5. You beat them on one drive that you decided to stay with the run, basically. I mean, it's just, it was a sad game all around. Inefficient. Third down efficiency, 2 of 11 for the Dolphins, 4 of 13 for the Patriots. I mean, just bad, dude. Yards per play, 5 yards per play. Just, it was just a pathetic performance. You know what it is to hold the ball for 34 minutes? You come up with 370 yards and you can score only 15 points? It's just ugly, man. Ugly. And you played a terrible team that committed all kinds of mistakes. They've got a jabroni at quarterback. I mean, that would have been the low of lows to lose to a jabroni. And it's so Dolphins to lose to a jabroni. By the way, jabroni was 18 of 34 for 160 yards. He also had 1 rush for 10. Huntley was 18 of 31 for 194 yards and an interception. He only had 3 rushes for 7 yards. It almost felt like they were rushes that, you know, that was kind of like a play that broke down. I would have liked some more design stuff. See, the thing, when you have an athletic quarterback that can run around, it enhances your running game. And I don't know how, you know, McD hasn't figured that shit out, because you could just watch what happens, you know, with Baltimore or when Cam was doing his thing. When you do have a running quarterback, or even in Philadelphia, it will help your running game because they have to worry about the quarterback being a threat. So it freezes guys at times, and it allows you to then, you know, with that freeze, pass it to the running back, or by you doing misdirections or those kind of things, you all of us, or even, you know, obviously ball handling too at the same time, where, you know, Tua's marvelous at that stuff, all that kind of stuff, and that trickery that freezes defenses, gives you an advantage. And when you have quickness like Mostert, like HN, like Wright, like Huntley, you use it to your advantage. And then all of a sudden you can get to a corner a little faster. That's the only thing. I mean, there's a lot of things. Again, I said this before, but I would have added to Huntley in this process is I would have already added the running element to it. You know, I don't know if it's because they're worried about him taking hits and they don't have a lot of quarterbacks, and I don't know if that's the case, but you're not really maximizing who he is. Because if you think at all he's a passer, like I know some of you had this delusional thing, oh, I think Huntley's going to come in and play well, and you know, and why would you think that? The guy's on somebody's practice squad. So obviously they had no real value for him when they thought he was a practice squad guy. That means he's like, yeah, well, you know, we could work with him, and, you know, if he sticks around, if not, hey, you know, it is what it is. Because you can't expect your practice squad guys to always be there. They might snatch him. So you hope, because they're just developmental guys. And then we had people in the Dolphin Nation that were delusional, like thinking that Huntley was some kind of answer to anything. And this is why, again, Mike McDaniel is a horrible coach, because a real coach uses Huntley's legs more and makes his life a little easier. He gets to think less. He doesn't, because he's not that guy as it is. He's not a passer. He's not a true pocket quarterback. He doesn't have accuracy or ball placement skills. And he definitely has zero anticipatory skills. Absolutely zero. He will never see a play before it happens. he can never throw to a spot before a running back or a receiver is at. Never, never, ever, ever, ever. He'll never do that. So use him more to his strengths. You know what I mean? Oh, hey, man, they found a way. Players overcame McD, and they won, which is good. Let's see. Let me check Cash App or Venmo here at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Michael Ferrante sending in some Bitcoin. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you sending in a little Bitcoin. Thank you. And let me see what was the message from Mr. Ferrante. Appreciate you, brother. We'll take the wins. We have to take the win. Because Tua needs a break here. You got, bro. You can't have the kid come back and then all of a sudden he has to kill himself to kind of bring you over the top. That's impossible, and it's not fair to Tua either. So I'm glad that they won. I'm hoping they can find a way to win the next game. There was a part of me, I don't know about you guys, before they started running, there was a part of me that wanted them to put in Tim Boyle because the kid can't pass. And again, I'm not a Tim Boyle fan by any stretch, but Tim Boyle, he has better passing skills than this kid. I almost would use a two-headed. See, I'm just a big mouth radio host that's been doing this for 34 years. But I don't have one quarterback right now. My one quarterback is sitting there, in concussion protocol. So since I only have parts of a quarterback, I am going to be a coach, and I'm going to say I'm going to use Huntley for some things, and I'm going to use Boyle for other things. And I'm going to rotate them. And I'm going to use them for different situations because, see, here's the thing. Okay, what groove does Huntley get in? He doesn't pass. So you're better off throwing them off by using Huntley as an athlete and the option. Did you see that one play where he ran and then before he was able to cross the line of scrimmage, he threw and hit Tyreek Hill? Remember that play? That's what I'm talking about. That's Sandlot shit. You're not going to play like that the whole time because you're asking for trouble. But if you want to play on what's it called? On program, on timing, you use Tim Boyle a little bit. If you want to play a little bit off of athleticism, you use, obviously, Huntley. That's what I would do. I would run a lot. I would use Huntley to run more. I would use Boyle to pass a little bit more. That's kind of what I would do. I would mix it up. Until I get to a back, I'm going to be the guy that is going to kind of mix all of this shit up. But I'm not going to put my eggs in just one basket that limits what I can do. So now as a play caller, I'm limited. But you would be less limited as a play caller if you use the entire running game, like your running backs and your quarterback, and your passing game, like Tim Boyle and others. But what the hell do I know? What the hell do I know? Why would I actually be able to figure that shit out? You know what I'm saying? Any super chats there before I go to the chat board? Frankie Fresco, shout out to Bowser on the defense. Yes, he did force a nice play towards the end. You are correct, sir. You are correct. So, what's it called? Nice move by Tyus. Big O, we're going to have to get another QB soon. Oh, no, they're drafting one. You have to draft one next year. But here's the problem with that. Okay. Do you draft one now? Just to draft one? If you can't get the one you really want? So if there's only a couple, and when Tua comes back, you're going to win some games. I don't know if you'll go to the playoffs. I don't know if you'll make a deep run because you're asking Tua and the team to be kind of perfect when they come back in the toughest part of their schedule, which would be sexually arousing if they could do it, by the way. I just want you to know that. I just want to throw that fun fact in because I am a fan. I do love the team. I want them to win. But if you could actually do that, that would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal if you could actually do that. But that's a lot to ask. So if you start winning games, what quarterback do you draft? Do you just draft a quarterback to draft a quarterback? No, you don't do that either. Now, if you lose all the games and you're in the top 5 and the top couple of quarterbacks are there, but if you're settling because you're at number 18 or 27 and you're settling for the 4th or 7th best quarterback, I don't know if that's a smart idea, my brother. So you can't assume that. So remember, when Tua gets back, when Tua gets back, it pushes you farther from a young quarterback. It pushes you farther from drafting that quarterback because logic tells you you're not going to have the same shot at a good quarterback because you're going to be falling in the draft with every win. Today, you fell in the draft with a win. Hell, today you're fighting for a divisional spot. You're fighting for a wild card spot now with 2 wins in the NFL right now. So, you're out. You're this whole thing about, we're going to draft a quarterback. Yeah, no, if Tua comes back, you're going to win a few games. You're going to win your way out of the top few picks. So that illusion, which is delusion, you need to kind of cut it out. You need to eliminate it, because all it's going to do is you're going to torture yourself with that stuff because it's not accurate and it's not going to happen. Now, if Tua doesn't come back, right, which is not the case because he went to Seattle. Once he went to Seattle, it was over. He's going to win games. He's going to win games. So that's over there, my friends. Big O, this team's not a playoff team. I see 6 or on 11. It doesn't either way. You're not going to get a top quarterback that way. Okay. If you get to 6, 7, 8, 9 wins, you're not getting a top quarterback. You will be out of that race. Hundley did well, threw much better for a backup QB in a week 1 experience. Yeah, he was there. Tim Boyle was active, sir. He was the backup quarterback for today. Tim Boyle was cut, signed to the practice squad, then activated for the game. And then Skyler was your 3rd quarterback. Jay Myers, you got to keep up with it, baby. Keep up with it. Tim Boyle was your backup. Let's see. Greer could be in trouble at season's end. Barney, how'd you figure that out? Barney could be onto something there. I don't think any of us thought that. The fact that the coach has been an absolute disaster, the quarterback has decided to play Gus Frerotte, the team can't get coached, you got injuries all over the place, whole bunch of big contracts, and our guy here, Barney Miller, he has come to the conclusion, like a great detective, that Greer could be in trouble at season's end. I got to tell you, sir, you're on top of it. You know what you're talking about. I'm telling you, man. I don't think any of us thought that. Now we're all going to copy Barney Miller. We're going to walk around. Hey, did you know? Chris Greer could be in trouble at the end of the year. So enlighten your friends the way Barney Miller enlightens us that Chris Greer could be in trouble at the end of the year. This could be. It's a hell of a guess on his part. I feel pretty confident that Miami will not lose a game next weekend. I feel, Sean, I feel really confident that you're going to be having a great shrimp cocktail in 2 weeks. I don't know. I don't know. But something tells me that 2 weeks, 13 days from now, not even 2 weeks, Sean, 13 days from now, you're going to have a great shrimp cocktail at St. Elmo's. By the way, who's joining us? If you're in Indy, we'll be at St. Elmo's on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, we will be at the Tavern South doing our pre- and post-game show. So this year we did it in Seattle, our pre- and post. We're going to go to Indy now, do our pre- and post in 2 weeks. Then we're going to go to L.A. and do our pre- and post. No, actually, we're going to go to Buffalo at in the beginning of November, then L.A. and do our pre- and post in both of those. So taking the show on the road. It's a beautiful thing. Let's see, what else do we have? By the way, smash, please smash the hell out of the like button, man. We're only at 200 and there's 800 people. There's been over 800 watching. So please smash the hell out of the like button, okay? Toby Marmorino, thank you for the love on the super chat. If McD had any balls, he'd send a message and fire Crossman tomorrow like Shula would. The guy should have been gone 2 years ago, especially since we're on a bye. I cannot explain that one, Tony. I will not try to explain that one. I would have fired him 2 years ago. I don't get it. McD got an extension that he didn't deserve either. So I don't know why he would be extended when he didn't win anything in the playoffs yet and with the talent. And again, I'll continue to say this. I know you guys will kill the front office, and right now I can't defend them. I can't do anything. But the front office gave Flo enough talent his last 2 years to win a game or two more. And the front office has given McDaniel enough talent to win a game or two more every season. And this year, you've only played 5 games, and the front office gave him enough talent to win another game or two already. And we still have 12 more games to go. So say what you want about the front office, but the front office's biggest failure, I have to say, is they can't find a real coach that knows how to maximize talent. That's the biggest problem that we have here. Biggest problem. And that falls at the feet of the front office, and I get that. Adolfo Foliaco, thank you, sir. The stupidity draft QB who is going to develop or put the QB in position to succeed our current coach is not a guru. Keep the front office. You know, that's a great point on your part on the you certainly can't keep this guy because this guy only helped Tua with confidence in telling Tua, hey, you're the guy. He doesn't make Tua better as a quarterback. Tua carries his ass as a coach. I mean, carries him. In fact, I don't know how Tua doesn't have 4 or 5 vertebrae broken already in his back, having to carry McD and all those silly clothes that he wears. Chris Travez, thank you for the love in the super chat. Did you notice Mike McDaniel got the plays in time today? Most of the time, yes. He got them in faster. He had cleaner plays. He had lesser confusing. There were a couple times they got cute with the movement, with the motion, and they got burned, Tyreek and all that. So there were a couple times, but they tried to simplify things, and they did. They did simplify it today. So thank you, Chris, also for your dedication. Ozzie Fisher, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. I think the So Glow McDaniel is using in his hair on the sidelines is seeping into his brain. He is now McMoron. All right. McMoron. Sounds like a really bad burger. McMoron. I'll take a McMoron. Add the mayo. Let's see. Satan Bernie says, I'm sorry to stop with the bullshit, real coach. The last 2 years been injury, defensive line, offensive line. When it's scoring 30 to 40 points, it has no bitching, ain't complaining right now. That's not true, actually, my brother. The offense has been the thing that loses the games more than anything else. You're wrong about that. The defense at times, even with the Boyer the first year. I pointed it out several times. As much as people picked on Boyer, it wasn't actually with what Boyer was working with at that time. He actually kept them in games. It was more the offense. You really got to follow it, and you'll see that McDaniel's decisions on offense have been more of a deterrent on why you lose. I mean, a couple weeks ago, he just gave you the example. Tua drops back on third down, and you've got Grant and Chosen running routes on third down, and Tyreek and Waddle are pulling themselves. How does a coach have an offense that the receivers can pull themselves out of games at any time? Since when, dude? What kind of empowerment bullshit is that? You want some empowerment? Meet me after practice or before practice. You got an issue. During the game, you're here to do what I say because I'm the coach and you're the player. I'm here to do the thinking and to set you up and all that. You're not here to tell me when you take a break. And by the way, if they have to take a break, then they're not in shape. I'm sorry. Like I told the Ira earlier in the week, that Tyreek and Waddle can't play for the Miami Heat, bro. They would not be in the condition to play for the Miami Heat. Certainly don't have the hands for it, that's for sure. That's for damn sure. Certainly won't have the hands for it. Ocala Joe, thank you for the love on Cash App. Oh, this win feels empty. Am I wrong? It's not that I understand the empty feeling. You got the win, but you didn't make progress as a team because the coach is still a joke on the sidelines. And you, deep down inside, know you only won because you played the Patriots. If you would have played a better team, you know it's a loss. That's why. So, you have to give credit today for calling a good game. No, I wouldn't give him calling a good game. He did a better job. He did the obvious. I'm not giving him credit for doing the obvious. And it took him so long. And by the way, he should stick to the run with Tua. Help Tua with that. Help any quarterback in the NFL. All these quarterbacks that have success, they run the ball too. They run the ball. The ones that have a really good offense, that's because they're running the heck out of the ball. And it allows and it opens up the pass. Meanwhile, for the Dolphins, it's never that way. That was a detriment to Marino, and it's a detriment to Tua. Shang Tu Sheng. You probably are a little too young because you don't have that perspective, but a lot of the shit that goes on with Tua went on with Marino. But Marino can mask it a little better than Tua. You know why? Because Marino was a freak at another level. Like Tua has the passing ability, he has the accuracy, the anticipatory skills, the intelligence, but the ability to throw the football like Marino, he doesn't have that. So Marino had a different level of ability to throw the football. So he made up for other shit too at the same time. But it was a detriment to Dan that they could never run the ball. Okay? And that was on Shula. That was his failures. And for McDaniel, that's his failures. So because he stayed with the run in one key drive at the end, it's almost like it happened by accident. And that's where Ocala Joe comes in and he feels empty because he knows that it's working. Let's stay with it. Really? Really? Oh, it's working. Let's stay with it. Or how about it's working because you're actually staying with it? Because when it does work, you don't stay with it. So Shang Tu Sheng, here you go. Here you go. So I'm a father and I'm a husband. You're a father and you're a husband. Okay? Should we get any credit for producing money to pay the rent or the mortgage? Not a goddamn bit. Should you get any credit for telling your kid you love them? and you make sure that they have clothes and stuff. No, that's your job, dude. That's your responsibility. But I'm not going to give you credit for the obvious. I'm not going to give you credit for what you're supposed to do. I give you credit when you go above and beyond what you're supposed to do. That's when I'm going to give you credit, when you really make people better. Your family, whatever it is, your players, your employees, your business. When you elevate others, that's when I'm going to give you credit. Who the fuck does Mike McDaniel elevate, bro? Shang Tu-Sheng. Who? He doesn't elevate a damn thing, dude. Tua elevates his ass. They carried his ass right now in this game, pretty much. The players overcame everything. The coach's ineptitude in order to win this game. Players would be better if they had a better coach. They would be better off if they had a better coach. Their lives are harder because they have Mike McDaniel, Shang Tu-Sheng. So, Matthew Lean, thank you, sir, for the super chat. Big O, this was the first game. I didn't have a major issue with the play calling. Hopefully he takes something from this game. Let's hope so. But after all this time, I really wonder with this guy. Bernie Torres says, players play. Today, there were so many dumb mistakes by players. Accountability is different than responsibility. Coach has the responsibility to get them ready. Players need to be accountable. Yeah. But as you know, Bernie, the team that constantly doesn't make mistakes, there's a reason why that team constantly doesn't make mistakes. And then the team that constantly makes mistakes, there's a reason why that team constantly makes mistakes. And it starts with the coach. When the coach does not tolerate it and the message is sent and received, the concentration is 100%. There is, you're going to make a mistake, but there is not going to be a habitual problem. When it's a habitual problem, let's go out. Let's have a drink or two. Let's not go out every night and have drinks. Then we have a habitual problem. Comprende, compadre? So this is what we've got going on, unfortunately. So when you've got a habitual issue with Danny Crossman, there's a problem. When you have a habitual issue that you don't win challenges, you've got a problem. When you've got a habitual issue that you don't stick to the run, except this one time at band camp today, So, yes, we give you American Pie references right in the middle of a football analogy. So, yes, that's the way it goes. So when it's habitual, it's a problem. It's like having a trumpet up your ass. Anyway, let's see. True Fin Fan says, absolutely not. Providing for my family is my duty. Being the greatest grandson, son, father, husband, friend is my duty, and I do not need to be told or patted on the back for it. Exactly. That's your responsibility, bro. Yeah. Now, True Fin Fan, if you worked your ass off and you got enough money to pay for your kid to go to Princeton, didn't earn it, couldn't get the scholarship, but you paid for it, that's above and beyond. Now we're talking about, hey, father of the year shit. Like, wow, that is freaking amazing. You are awesome, dude. What'd you do? Work 87 jobs? You've got to be Jamaican. Are you in a living color? You're in living color, right? You're in that skit, man. Nah, I've got 8 jobs. I just got off my 7th. I'm going on to my 8th. No, right? Then you're the father of the year. Now we're talking. But if, Your kid's got food and a shirt and shorts and underwears to, well, they're supposed to. You brought them into the world. That's your responsibility. I'm not giving you any credit for that shit. Yeah, it's just the way it is. So you got to earn it, man, in this world. And Mike McDaniel hasn't earned a damn thing, dude. Not even in this victory. You know, it's almost by chance that he stayed with that. When he does this habitually, then we've got a nice issue. Let's bring it full circle. You know, it could be habitually in a good way. So when he habitually sticks to the run, then we got a good thing going. Then you've got another thing coming. Hey, yeah, it's a coming now. Big O, if there's a video of McDaniel's interview, I will pay 25,000 Jasmine to see how the king of ums got the gig. Yeah, I know. I'm with you. My Jasmine hat's not here. Damn it. I thought I had the prop here already. It's in another room. Big O, do you think Tua will be cleared? Oh, no. He's guaranteed. Guaranteed he's playing Arizona, bro. Guaranteed. You know, unless he starts running into walls on purpose, that he just wants to start taking on walls, then, maybe that might be an issue. Hateful Steve is in the house. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin donation. Steve M says, how can we draft or sign anyone really takes behind Tua? Apparently, he's really sensitive to people being confident in him, and that would certainly signal the team might. No, he's not sensitive. That's bullshit that the media makes up. How can you be sensitive when you play for Saban? How are you sensitive when you take a sack in a national championship game and Saban's ripping you and you put your arm around his shoulder and you tell him, relax, coach, I needed a couple more yards back so I can throw? That looks to you like a guy that's sensitive? The guy knew his prior coach hated him. He knew, he even said it in the press conference when asked, hey, why did you think they started you against the Rams? He goes, I'll never say, but I know. You know why, Steve? Because he wanted him to fail. He put him up against the worst D-line in the NFL, the D-line that will make you shit in your pants. If you're sensitive, people tell you you're never coming back from a hip injury, and you come back from that to get slammed by Michael Brockers? You think that guy's sensitive? I mean, have some common sense, Steve. Just read the room, dude. That guy it's not that he's sensitive. He was honest at that moment when he tells you, if they're constantly telling you they hate you and you never will amount to anything, you're nothing, which was Flo. I didn't want you. I didn't want you around. I didn't want to draft you. He told them all that shit because he didn't want to draft him. So, of course, it becomes a thing for 2 years, 2 years, that you're hearing it constantly. You're hearing it. It's a pain in the ass, dude. So, yeah, anybody, that's happened to a lot of players. That's happened to a lot of human beings that lose jobs. They question themselves. I don't know, Steve, if you're not a human being, but lots of human beings have had moments where they have failed. Doesn't mean that they are soft or whatever at that moment, that they're down and they're questioning themselves, but they have a moment where you are in a valley and then you climb back out of that. And the strong ones are the ones that can climb out of that. The strong ones are the ones that rebound from hips. The strong ones are the ones that rebound from your head coach literally hating you and literally trying to set you up to fail by putting you to play against the Rams. So this whole thing that some people say, that they're worried about a backup. Nobody brings in backups for competition. Who the fuck does that? Where do they do that? I'm sorry, I must have missed that. They do that in teams that they don't have a starter. Then you have two backups that are battling. So, yeah, you're in Indianapolis. You got a Richardson that can't stay healthy or is inaccurate, and then you bring in some backup or some veteran or something. Yeah, then you don't have a starter. But a guy that's been in the MVP race and overcome all of this, especially with the now Tua's legend should be growing even more now after you watch that he walks away from this situation and Mike McDaniel can't coach out of a paper sack. I mean, I can't explain it anymore. There's nothing soft about this guy. There's nothing about that he is not going to bounce back, because that hip injury is worse than Flo. It's worse than his dad. It's worse than Saban. It's worse than the ineptitude of Mike McDaniel. It's the worst thing that could ever happen to him, because that was the truly career-threatening moment, and it was an injury. And yet he fought back from that injury and put himself in the MVP race the last couple of years. And by the way, putting yourself in the MVP race with that coach becomes even more special now. Everything he's accomplished under McDaniel becomes even more impressive, knowing how incompetent Mike McDaniel is. That sounds to me like an incredibly tough-minded young man. Okay? Now, does he need help? Yeah. Did Drew Brees have it? Yeah. Does he have it? No. Does he have Drew Brees' offensive line? No. Does he have Drew Brees' commitment to the run game? No. Does he have Drew Brees' commitment to playing the tight end? No. But he could throw to receivers like Drew Brees, but the rest, I don't know. So, but it's all right. Treat him however you want to treat him. Don't look at everything objectively and blame and lay the blame to other places. Lay it all on him, because he's supposed to do everything for everybody. I guess Minka Fitzpatrick was weak and soft too, because he hated Flores so much he demanded a trade. Exactly. Flores was an asshole and he wanted out, and he was able to get out. But they weren't going to let you don't let go of a quarterback. You can go draft another safety, but you can't go get another quarterback. So, anyway, Big O, it's the reversal of the touchdown, a bad call, or the correct call. I got to tell you something. That's a super bogus call. We got lucky there, just like the Canes got lucky last night on the targeting, because it was definitely targeting. Definitely targeting. Okay. But no, it's a good call. That's the call, but it's a bogus call. But let me tell you something. When that happens to a Dolphin, I'm going to be super freaking pissed. And if you're the Patriots, you should be super freaking pissed. The toe should be, now you need the whole foot now. So what happens when you drag a toe? Why is there a double standard? Anybody want to tell me that one? So when you're going to the sideline, you don't plant the whole foot. You drag the second toe. He dragged the second toe. It's good. Now in the end zone, we got to have a flat foot. Fuck you. Get the hell out of here, bro. Get the hell out of here. That's a bullshit call. That's a horseshit call that they did on New England today. I'm glad, because I'm a Dolphins fan. But it's a horseshit call, because our team's going to get burned for it. It makes zero sense that you can drag a toe, but you can't put in your, what's that called? The palm of your toe or palm of your foot. No, that's the others. No, that's the middle part. What's that called? Just the toes, I guess, because I don't know what this part in of the toes would be called or whatever. I don't know what the proper deal is, but that should have been a touchdown. So, yeah, it's a bullshit call. Now, it's a legal call. This is the bogus rule they have, but I just gave you a counter to that I would tell the competition committee. So, wait a minute. We need a whole foot, but then on the sideline, you can drag it? Since when? How is that fair? That's not fair. That should be a touchdown. Just like when you cross the plane of the goal, touchdown, well, the toes landed, touchdown. It's over. If it would have landed on the white and the green, then no touchdown. But it landed in the green, and then the rest of the foot lands. So for that split second, the same way the split second the football crosses the plane of the goal is a touchdown, the same as when you drag the foot, it's a touchdown. This should be a touchdown. So it is a bogus call. That's all. Okay. What else do we have? The heel. No, but the heel is the back part, isn't it? Isn't that the heel? Right? So, I don't know, man. I don't know. The toes count as the whole foot is not a drag, but not in a plant down mode. But yeah, it's stupid. You can't. It's a double standard that makes no sense. None whatsoever. Okay. Sole of the foot, Big O. Okay. I thought that would be the middle part, where the arch is. Big O, I totally agree. Stupid rule. They probably find a way to call it a TD with Tampa Bay at QB. Oh, with Tom Brady at QB. Oh man, it just sucks. But I'm just gonna say, overall, it's a bogus one. That's it. So, did I get something from the Perk Man? Okay. All right. We're gonna get the Perk Man on. Okay, there we go. Anyway, all right. I'm sorry. What else do we have here? Steve M is back. Hateful Steve is in the house. I don't care about hugging Saban. I care about not showing up against the Bills at home to win the division. That's the whole team that doesn't show up. It's not just one guy, dude. It's just and against the Bills a couple of years ago, isn't it that Tyreek and the other guy dropped touchdowns? And didn't he throw another one to Braylon Sanders and they dropped it? Is that on Tua? And last year against Kansas City in the first game, didn't he put it in the basket for Tyreek downfield? That was points. And didn't Tyreek have the fumble for a touchdown? See, that's the problem with you people. You blame him for all the losses when there are reasons why you lose, and other people contribute to losses. And then you remember last year they got their ass kicked by Baltimore, but you don't remember that Tua beat Baltimore the 2 years before that. So conveniently, you only remember this Baltimore, but not the other two. Conveniently, you forget about other games that other people contribute in big moments. Has nothing to do with Tua, but let's blame Tua. So that's the problem with all of that. So, I mean, it's just, the thing about not winning big games against the Bills. So what? Marino didn't beat the Bills. Who cares? Why? It wasn't a Marino thing, and Marino's pretty damn good. No. Well, oh God, let me see. So, and Marino's pretty damn good. So, I don't know. Some of you out there, I don't know what you're watching. You look at things and you don't really understand that it's actually a team sport. And so you blame him for everything, but the Dolphins as a whole don't win big games for 40 years. It's not a Tua thing. It's been going on forever, dude. Forever it's been going on. And it's not because of one guy. The one guy is really not your main. Well, he is your problem now because he doesn't take care of himself anymore. So that's been proven that you can't trust Tua anymore, which is the sad part. Let's see. You have no mention of Angel Reese. Who's Angel Reese? What are we talking about Angel Reese for? We should not have won this game. That was a TD. No, it's not actually. Not in this league. Not with that stupid rule. So, it's a terrible rule, but it's a rule. Come on, Big O. It's always Tua's fault, even when it's not even when he's not out on the field. Exactly. That is true. Tony is right about that. Dolphins can't beat the Bills, but other teams can. Yeah, no, it's Josh Allen becomes a superstar against the Dolphins. That is proven, my friends. Just like Sloman's home shield is proven to protect Americans everywhere, as we await Chris Perkins. And if you want to feel safe and secure at home, Sloman's Home Shield 24/7 coverage. Right now, they are offering a free home security system with free professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. The free system includes the panel, the keyboard, up to 10 door contacts, window decals, lawn sign, professional installation, lifetime service, communication device, and backup battery. Sloman's Home Security offers custom top-of-the-line home security systems that are designed to detect intruders, alert the authorities, and give you real-time updates. And it is a convenience because I get it to my phone. So does Sean for his home. You can have cameras inside, outside. The doorbell camera is a beautiful thing. When anybody approaches your home, it is awesome. So please reach out, 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. We're in 14 different states. And tell them that Big O sent you. It's always important to mention us, okay? Tony Marmorino, thank you for the love on the super chat again, sir. Everyone breathe. We won a game, albeit ugly. Enjoy it. We didn't lose. Now we have 2 weeks to try to get one in Indy, then Tua back for the final 11. Amen. Amen. It was ugly, but we'll take the win, man, because we need life for Tua to be a little bit easier, bro. Kickback, thank you for the love in the super chat. He says, no evidence that Tua is sensitive, zero, zilch, nada. Yeah, it's a silly myth that I think comes up with bored media members that either want to fill time on some podcast, on a radio show or a writer or something like that. Far from sensitive. So Gus says, only thing we deserve as fathers is the big piece of chicken. There you go, Gus. Now you got it. That's the way it goes. You got it, baby. All right, let's do it. Locked and loaded and ready to go. The EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins postgame report with the one and only Chris Perkins.
Time to go to the locker room, Miami Dolphins fans. Let's find out what's percolating with the one and only Chris Perkins in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins post-game report.
All right. This was as ugly as Mona Lisa and kind of valuable, too, for the Dolphins. Right, Perk?
Oh, Big O, you didn't want to go into this bye week at 1-4 and riding a 4-game losing streak and everybody bitter and upset and you just lost to the lowly Patriots. No, this is, what I like, Big O, is they played some big boy football. You had a 15-play, 80-yard drive. You ran it right down their throat. Jalen Wright, Raheem Mostert, Alec Ingold. You had the nice pass to Tyreek Hill. This is Dolphins football that you have to play without Tua. They finally got it.
What a concept, huh? And by the way, they found Jonnu Smith on the roster. I mean, it's wow, he's on the roster. They could use him now. It was a revelation today on that. That's where I'll give Chief Bobo a little bit of credit that McDaniel did. He did simplify things.
Yes.
But again, it still took him to the second half, and it took him a while to finally say, okay, I got to stick to the run here, and finally, because he's had moments in his tenure where the run works and then he just abandons it. And you're never going to get a rhythm or ever find out if you got some run blockers if you don't freaking stick to it to find out if you can do it.
Yeah, I asked Frank Smith, the offensive coordinator, during the week, what does it take to get this run game going? And he was saying, it's hard to really stick to it when you're playing from behind all the time and you're playing against the clock. So we did see today that they take that 7-3 lead, and they took the 3-0 lead. My fault, and then they go down 7-3. But they were able to stay fairly patient. I was really, really happy with Mike McDaniel and him going back to the run game. Look, and yes, they did still need the video review. Big O, how about this? How about the video review helping out South Florida football against Virginia Tech, Cal, and the Patriots, baby? How about that? How about video helping South Florida survive here? But, the Dolphins did have to survive that video review, at the end with some blown coverage in the end zone. Screw that. They got physical. They played some big boy football. They remembered that this is a violent, aggressive sport, and they played some football. And Big O, they overcame that long run by Jalen Wright that had the hold on, was it Julian Hill maybe? But they overcame that, and they kept running the ball. And I was very glad to see that kind of determination from Mike McDaniel, not only the offensive line, but from Mike McDaniel that yes, I'm going to keep running the ball because I might not be gaining 5 or 6 yards on every single play, but I'm putting something together here.
Yeah, and you're also occasionally popping some really nice runs, too, at the same time. So keep sticking with it because you will pop some really nice runs because both Jalen and Mostert both were popping runs. By the way, I'm super happy they won, so happy they won. But that rule in the end zone is absolutely bullshit because if you can drag the toe on the sideline, you mean once you land your toes, you have to put the whole foot in? That's a bunch of bullshit, dude. Whatever lands, if it lands and it's 2 feet in and it's just the toes, that should have been a touchdown for New England. That rule needs to be reversed because if you can break the plane of the goal with a football to be a touchdown, if you can drag your second toes in order for it to be a reception or a touchdown, then in that situation, if your toes land in cleanly inside the green and they don't touch the white, that should have been a touchdown, dude. I'm just saying. That's just me.
You know what, Big? I don't even know if I knew that was a rule. I'm like, yeah, I don't know that that's come up very often in my memory banks. And when they said that, I was like, you got the foot down. But I'm not sure that I knew that was a rule.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know either. But now I've learned that, okay, you're inconsistent as hell. Yeah. You can't have that a rule and then have the drag toe be legal and have the break of the plane of the goal be legal. These things do not correlate. They do not create consistency. Because if you're going to do the plane and you're going to do the drag toe, then that one has to be a touchdown also. I'm sorry. That's just the way it should be. It's bad, but hey, I'll take it. That's fine with me. Tom Brady got a championship on a tuck rule deal, right? So, hey,
that's right. Right.
Do whatever happens, we don't control that part. Now, again, here's where I'll give the players credit. They fought through a lot of stuff, man, because there were a lot of mistakes made from whether it's decisions or players not making, the right plays and all that kind of stuff. This is one where, I give McDaniel some credit for sticking in that one drive with the run and all that kind of stuff. But overall, I kind of give the players a lot of love for this one win because I don't think they get a lot of help from the sidelines, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Big O, this is one of those deals where, last year before the Kansas City game, when I wrote that McDaniel should be on the hot seat if he loses this game, and I got buried. I got hammered for that, but his his game day coaching leaves a lot to be desired. And, look, he's still a young coach, but he should be over a lot of this stuff that he's done and a lot of the preparation. I mean, look, I know he doesn't coach special teams, Big O, and you know where I'm going with this, but for you to have a missed field goal and a messed up snap on the field goal and a blocked punt, like, this is ridiculous. Have you guys been coached? And some of these penalties that are still coming up on the illegal shifts, and by the way, the special teams, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they have a block in the back that was declined on a return? Yeah. So I mean, you cannot have all of this stuff, whether you have Tua or not. You cannot have all of this stuff. The players, look, I've taken some heavy shots and some heavy swings at this team. But I've always said I respect and admire this player, the players' fighting spirit. These guys don't give up. They know that they have limitations. They don't give up. They keep fighting, and I give them a lot of credit for that. We saw that today. Look, if it was a better team than the Patriots, yeah, they probably lose, but screw that. It was the Patriots, and they did win, and they kept on fighting. They kept on running the ball. They kept on trying to make plays defensively. My hat is off to this team and to these players because, yeah, they don't quit. They really don't, Big O. And I have a lot of respect and admiration for the players in that locker room because, it could have been easy to quit a few times today and a couple of times this season, quite honestly. And during the McDaniel era, right? You had the 5-game losing streak in 2022. You had all the injuries last year. They keep going, and I give them a lot of respect and credit for that.
Well, I think that's because I think you walk into a locker room with a lot of good character dudes. That's why. Right. And I think you have a lot of pros, and all of that. But I'll tell you this, with every snap, I know he has to fix his, injury history and obviously his decision-making, thinking he's Gus Frerotte now doesn't help, concussing himself here. So he's got to fix that part. But at passing skills, Tua's legend grows with every drive, with every snap, because Mike McDaniel looks more useless every day without Tua. And, yeah, McDaniel might have been really good. In fact, I'm sure he was really good for Tua's confidence. But I think Tua was better for him when it comes to offense and production and everything else. And I think we're even with I was talking about even with Flo. Flo hates you, didn't want you, tells you that. He starts you against the Rams to set your ass up for failure. And yet you still go 7-3 as a starter. You still throw more touchdowns than interceptions. So in the worst case scenarios, the kid has actually overcome. And I think his legend grows a little bit more now because McDaniel looks even more inept without his ass.
Well, I will take exception with you there, Big O. Look, Tua in his last 8 games against playoff teams has 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Against Buffalo, what is he, 1-6, 1-7? And these kinds of things.
What are the Dolphins against playoff teams in 40 years, Perk? No matter who the quarterback is, no matter who the coach is, no matter who the general manager is, no matter who the team is, do you think they do well against playoff teams? Or do you think that's the same story that was going on with Tannehill and with everybody else? What do you think?
The difference now is you're better stocked. You should be beating these. Like Philbin and Gase didn't have nearly the talent that Mike McDaniel has. They shouldn't have been beating New England and Baltimore and stuff like this team should. This team was built to win a Super Bowl. Those other teams were built to get a wild card. Hopefully you can beat New England, but this team is different. And that's why I judge this team different. And look, I've hammered on Mike McDaniel. I try not to make it personal and call him an idiot or anything like that. I do like and respect Mike McDaniel. He's a young coach. But I do think that, look, Big O, and I've pointed this out many times, among Mike McDaniel and Tua and Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Raheem Mostert, all of them are terrible against playoff teams. Raheem last year had 1 rushing touchdown against a playoff team. He had a franchise record 18, 1 against a playoff team. You know Mike McDaniel doesn't call a good game. You know Tyreek doesn't come through. Tua doesn't come through. I don't cherry pick and say Tua this or McDaniel that. All of them need to come together and figure out a way to beat good teams because they all have culpability here.
Yes, exactly. But that's the way I like to hear it, not where it's just on one guy, because that makes no sense.
Right.
You know, because like I mentioned, okay, so you lose against playoff teams, but did Tua lose the first Kansas City game, or did Tyreek lose the first Kansas City game?
Right. Correct.
Right? Because Tua dropped it right in the breadbasket, a 40-yarder. That was points. It would have been either 3 or leading to 7, and he dropped it, and then he had the fumble for the touchdown. So is that on Tua? Is that on Tyreek? A couple years ago in Buffalo, isn't it Tyreek and the other kid dropping back-to-back touchdowns in the end zone? Isn't it Braylon Sanders stopping when it was supposed to be a deep ball? It would have been a touchdown against the Bills. Isn't it? This isn't Tua, but this is all a team thing. Isn't it 2 years ago you're against Buffalo and your coach doesn't know what fucking down it is? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a team thing. But it's not just a McDaniel and a Tua and a Mostert and whatever thing. It's a Wanstead thing. It's a Philbin thing. It's a Gase thing. It's been all the general managers that have been here. It's been all the head coaches. They all have failed in big moments. They all failed to make the playoffs, Perk. I mean, we were on a roll where we made the playoffs, 2001, 2008, 2016 or so. They were like making playoffs every 8 years and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we're talking about a habitual issue that runs deep for all of these teams, dude, for a long time, man. So it's not just one person, it's a disease of many.
It is, but this era, Big O, is different to me. The McDaniel era is different to me because this team was built to win a Super Bowl, right? Flo's teams and Gase's teams and Philbin's teams weren't built to win a Super Bowl. I mean, you hoped, and you hoped they could make the playoffs above all. This team making the playoffs should be a given. Should be. It's about advancing and getting to that Super Bowl. Having said all that, I will go back to this. I do still think that this team should and can and will go into December 500-ish. Maybe a game below, maybe right at. I don't know, how many games are left, if there's 7 games left or 6 games left. But yeah, I'm thinking 5 and 6, Big O, at the worst, whatever that number would be. But I don't see, they shouldn't go into December, at like 4 and 7 or anything like that. They still have too much talent for that.
No, I'm with you there. Injury-wise, what do we know? I know HN with the concussion. What else?
Yeah, that's the one that you're really going to be worried about. Javon Holland also went out, and Elijah Campbell came in for him. So you had Elijah Campbell and Marcus May. So we'll watch that safety situation. I don't know if either or both safeties will be back after the bye. Jordan Poyer missed this game with the shin injury. I think, Big O, that's it. I think they got out of this game in fairly good shape injury-wise.
Okay. All right. Don't feel bad. Jordan Poyer's home with Rachel Bush. That's he's doing well. He's doing well. What do you got going on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Well, you know what? Today I am going to write about this run game and this physical presence that the Dolphins showed. I thought it was really good. I thought it was good that you showed that you can win other than the big play, other than the cutesy timing passing game, that we can roll up our sleeves and play NFL football. And here's the other thing, Big O. This is the kind of football that translates to wins in December and January, right? When you're playing tough teams, when you're on the road, when maybe it's cold weather, if you have a run game that can produce, if you can make that team drop that safety down into the box and face an 8-man front, and now that increases your chances of going over the top to Tyreek or Waddle because each one of them has one-on-one coverage. well, now you're onto something. Now you're onto building a complete offense that's really, really tough to defend. And that's one thing that I liked about what I saw today. So that's what I'm going to be working on, the column that I'm writing post game today.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hope this leads them to running the ball more and staying with it too at times, because as a long-time Dolphins fan, there were moments back in the day that you would get frustrated with Shula when they were only getting 2 or 3 yards in a carry, but he would stick to it because once in a while you'll pop it, even though they never really, in the latter half of his career, they didn't have a great running game more often than not in the Marino era. And you would like, all right, enough of that, but he would still do enough of it, to keep people honest. And I would like for McDaniel to do the same, keep people honest. But if you do that in the process, man, you're going to end up having some success, because they've shown time and time again that they can pop some of these runs, but they just don't stick to it long enough. That's the frustrating.
Right. And here's the other good thing about the run game today is, remember, you did this without Jeff Wilson Jr., who was inactive. We know Achane went out with a concussion, and you had the Jalen Wright, Raheem Mostert show. And so you're able to do this with Jeff Wilson, who is your slashing runner, probably your hardest runner, not a power runner, but probably your hardest runner. We'll see what Jalen Wright continues to contribute here. They were running between the tackles today, Big O. And so awesome. There's a lot of good to be gained from what we saw today. Hopefully they can build on it.
I'm with you, man. And don't forget, EJD Construction. Call Eric in Dade or Broward County, 305-433-4843. If you're home, you're looking for custom home construction and major home remodeling, they are fully insured, liability and workers' comp. 305-433-4843. Been in business for 20 years, man, and earning a AAA plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. Reach out to EJD Construction. Get your home prepared. Get it storm ready all year long, man. EJD Construction. Perk, what are you working on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out right away and subscribe?
Dude, Big O, going into this bye, we're gonna take a look at what the Dolphins need to do post-bye to stay afloat and possibly even to surge, Big O. And aside from that, we're all trying to dodge this hurricane, aren't we? I think that's probably going to be our big aim for the bye week. Hopefully, everybody out there stay safe.
I dodge it, and then I can't wait for a St. Elmo steak and shrimp cocktail, baby. I can't wait. That's a beautiful thing. Follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk, and make sure you subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Chris, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
All right,
you got it. There you go. Chris Perkins, our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins postgame report.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins post-game report with the Sun Sentinel's Chris Perkins. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
All right. Now we go. It's like bookend tackles, right? We got Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom. We tell you they're the bookend tackles when it comes to law. And if you ever need somebody to defend you, you reach out to Welt and Rayom. Yes, sir. 954-966-4646. You reach out to my guys. Now we're going to reach out to the one and only David Furones with our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins post-game report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welton Rayon Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All righty. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Feeling all right. A beautiful fall afternoon over here in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Man, I mean, it's nice to get away from the constant heat and humidity, and actually experience a little bit of a fall season out here, as I did in Seattle 2 weeks ago. So, but aside from that, the game was absolutely atrocious. But Dolphins escaped with a win. But nice weather out here.
Well, you know what? At least, brother, you know, it was super ugly. There's a lot of things we can pick from that we can't be happy with. But I will say for them, they needed this victory badly, because even when they get to a back starting against the Arizona game, they're going to need to be almost perfect. And if you would have at least won a few more games here, you would have made life a little easier. But they don't have a lot of room for error when he comes back, and it's the toughest stretch of the season.
Yeah, exactly. This is why I've been writing just how pivotal this stretch is, even if you don't have Tua Tagovailoa in this stretch. But I mean, I was looking at if you get to like 2-4, or I mean, we were even on the verge of thinking of a potential 1-5 had they not gotten this one, and then after the bye playing at Indianapolis without Tua, then I mean you're already packing it up. That's because then you face your tougher half in the second half of the schedule, and but we already know this team's record against winning teams when they're at full strength. It would have been really tough. But squeak one out here in New England. It's a win is a win, so they needed it however they could get it, like you said. So they did get this one. 2-3 is way better than 1-4 for this team. 1-4, you're already kind of counting them out. And then now on the other side of the bye, if they could get to 3-3 by the time Tua comes back, then that's huge. 3-3 would be a huge victory for this team with where it's stood.
The shame is you should be 3-2 or 4-1 right now.
Yeah,
that's
of
the
course.
real shame. If you had a really good coach and not one that's terrible on game day and can't prepare his team, and again today was a team that was unprepared, and why Danny Crossman has a job, dude, would have fired his ass 2 years ago. It is beyond me. Do you know it? Does he have naked pictures? Did he catch somebody at Diddy's party or something? What's going on? How is Danny Crossman still here, bro?
We joke about this too, us beat writers. Just what does this guy have on him that no move has ever made? I mean, we had the questions the last 2 off seasons. Then this one, when we finally got to ask him about it at the combine, and Danny Crossman was retained, and he said, the results haven't been what we expected, but that he believes he is the right man to fix it. But still, Big O, we see this now. It's another year of it, and I mean, huge special teams mishaps, and I mean, boy, then maybe now they're going to say, well, the special teams recovered in the second half, and some of those field goals were so critical. But I mean, it's just you shouldn't have the mistakes that you're seeing. Now, Blake Ferguson, I talked to him in the locker room, and he just owned up. It was just on him that he rolled that snap on the field goal back to Jake Bailey. Just tossed him a ground ball, and he just owned up to that's just his own sole mistake. But still happening on Crossman's unit. A block punt again. I mean, the same guy, Brendan Schooler. That's the same player on the Patriots that blocked a field goal against you last year. That Sunday night football game in the same stadium. You learned nothing from this. You couldn't watch tape, game plan against. I'm no special teams guru, but I mean, I imagine you can find some things in order to get that corrected. So another one there, and then and obviously Sanders hit the upright on one of his field goal attempts, the one that he missed. So costly special teams errors. Austin Jackson had a false start on the one where there was a bad snap, so it brought you back 5 yards too. So you can go on and on. I mean, Mike McDaniel said post-game he was asked how he would assess the special teams unit, and he said very critically. We'll see what that means now that this team does have a bye week, and sometimes big changes could come out of a bye week. For the Dolphins, it comes kind of early, so I don't know if it would actually lead to change.
I mean, Jesus Christ, dude, how long does that guy get? You know, how many chances does he get to screw up? Because he has screwed up a lot. The one thing I will say, and it was fun to see them stick to the run and win basically on that drive that you actually stuck to the run, which is something that you need to make it more of a habit. But the one knock I would have is that, and I'll give McDaniel a little credit that today he simplified things. ran more and all that, and he used Jonnu Smith, and that helps your quarterback. I would like to see more runs by Huntley. I would like to see some stuff where it's actually, designed for him to take advantage. That way, I think that opens up the running game for your running backs too. Because all of a sudden, if one of your backers has to worry about the quarterback running, that kind of holds people, it freezes them a little bit. It opens things up for others. And so that's the one knock that I would have. You have an athletic quarterback, use his athleticism a little bit. He's not a passer, bro. He proves that all the time he's not a passer.
Yeah, and it's funny. You don't think of Mike McDaniel's offense or much of Kyle Shanahan, which he comes from in San Francisco, as utilizing a mobile quarterback like that. I mean, they drafted Trey Lance, and then that didn't work out. But Mike McDaniel does go back to the RG3 days with Washington. He was an assistant on that staff. So, I mean, dust off some of that old stuff. Dust off some of that playbook and see what you can get. I mean, it's one more game, presumably, with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. So why not utilize that athleticism? But I mean, I have no complaints on the run game. This game, obviously,
the run game was terrific.
Exactly,
man.
right,
Yeah,
right.
But I would have a few less passes and a few more runs for Huntley instead. Like today, he was 18 of 31. Kind of. I don't need him to throw 31 times. You know what I'm saying?
In a game like this, yeah.
I'm keeping him maybe in the 20-25 range, and instead I'm going to give him 5 runs that I think are going to really improve my offense, because I think he can pick up a 7 or 10 yarder every once in a while for me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I just think that I would have liked to have used him. In my book, I would have used him Boyle. I would have mixed it up and have Boyle using him a little bit for passing, use running and a little passing, because the one play where he running and it stopped prior to the line of scrimmage and completed to Tyreek in the middle of the field. Do you remember that play? That's not a design thing. That's just something that happens. Kind of sandlocked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know if I would go into bringing quarterbacks in and out. I also have bad memories of my freshman year at UM of Randy Shannon doing that with Robert Marv and Ja'Cory Harris, and that wasn't working well until finally Marv had an injury and Harris was the guy.
Wait a minute. There's no rhythm for Hunter. He's got a passer. So
yeah, but there's rhythm in orchestrating the offense.
Yeah, but God. I guess because of the cadence and everything changing from one guy to another. They're not organized with one quarterback. If you got to alternate, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Well, but again, that's because the coach sucks. If the coach was a good coach, this wouldn't be an issue either.
You're always going to go back to that.
Sure. Look at the penalties, mistakes. It's constant. Mike McDaniel is as unorganized a head coach as we've ever seen on the sidelines for the Miami Dolphins. And I've seen a lot of football for the Miami Dolphins. He is one of the most unorganized coaches I have ever seen in my life, dude.
Yeah. Overall, this game still had all those traits of the ugliness, the sloppiness. Tyler Huntley improved in his orchestration of the offense, the organization of it on a short week. So going from Monday night to starting a Sunday afternoon. So I will give them credit that with one less day, and it's really like 1.5 fewer days to get him ready than they did to a further extent. So I will give him credit for that. Tyreek Hill, I was talking to him in the locker room, and he even said that Huntley was over communicating with a lot of clarity. So it seems like they really got him in a more comfortable spot, which is on both. It's on Huntley to learn it and obtain that information, having an extra week going from week 2 to week 3, start 1 to start 2. But also, I mean, coaches deserve some semblance of credit. I know it's still a little bit ugly, or maybe a lot ugly at times, but still, there was an improvement in that regard. So I wouldn't go over the top either.
Oh, what do we know? Any injuries outside of HN with the concussion? You see anything else in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, Achan will be in concussion protocol, obviously, but Javon Holland left this game, and he was seen with a club or cast, something over his hand that he left injured with. So now we'll await more updates on what the next steps are. He was ruled out with that injury, so obviously something he couldn't play through.
Is that his punching hand?
I mean, maybe he's ambidextrous or amphibious, whichever one of them. Obviously, but ambidextrous. But I mean,
or he's
or could he play with that club? Could he play with that club and help him punch those out? You know? Yeah, we've seen that too. But I mean, it might be kind of burdensome to run on that thing if he needs to. At least he has an extra week to deal with that. I was trying to see if I could.
Plaster caster, baby. Yeah.
And Kendall Fuller exited the game, and then he was able to return. So they never – I don't believe they ever announced an injury for him, where if he needed some more time, they probably would have had to say he's questionable to return with whatever it is. So I don't think we ever found out. I was trying to get him.
Fuller was the one with the knee, right?
Yeah, where
he put a shoulder in the tackle, but and people thought it was a shoulder. It wasn't a shoulder. If you look, it was his leverage had his leg in the back, and because of the hit, and then you saw him on the sidelines that he was hopping and all that. Then you're not hopping for your shoulder, bro. You're hopping because you're testing your knee if it's responding and the ligament and all that. But you could tell it was like maybe a minor hyperextension or some shit like that. But you could tell that it was a knee because he was in an awkward position when he took the hit because the cleat was stuck into the dirt.
Yeah, and he never went into the medical tent, so he just tried to stay loose in talking to trainers. And I saw him sort of like pointing to and shaking the right leg, so it seems like he was trying to keep that active as he was weighing whether he could go back in. So that's what I saw there. I was trying to get to him in the locker room, but then just in all the media scrums, I had to get somewhere else, and then he was gone by the time I was looking for him again.
You're convinced you're convinced Tua comes back against Arizona, right? Because making that Seattle trip tells me he is perfectly fine. He's not having any kind of setbacks or anything like that. It looks like he bounced back, and again, we're all different, dude. Some people, it can last a month or 5 months, a year, and some people it's gone in 24 hours or 48 hours. None of us really can. That's something that they don't know. None of us can tell, but it looks to me like he's fine, dude.
Right. And so I wonder if and I don't think we'll get this answer because this was the whole reason why they put him on IR, was to just put it out of the back of your mind and then not have to answer the question every week or every day. So, but I wonder if he is indeed already out of concussion protocol, where he stands. I know Mike McDaniel wouldn't get into stages of protocol either, but and then I also wonder you had the bye week. See, originally I was thinking if you could get away with not putting him on IR and then you have that bye week, if you could get him for that Indianapolis game. But I know, given his history, that the team just wanted to say, hey, it's going to be the 4 weeks. And then also you could get him to come back on a home game if it's indeed Arizona. You definitely want him getting a game under his belt, because you don't want him to then make that first one be the at Buffalo game. So home against Arizona would be the first one. If he is indeed already out of protocol or on track to be out and available by that game, then so be it. But I was always wondering if you could get away, especially having that bye week, with getting him a week early than putting him on IR for the minimum 4. If you could have had him for this upcoming Colts game in 2 weeks.
Yep. All right, what are you working on there at the Sun Sentinel, sir?
Yeah, wrapping up the game coverage here and the updates on Achan, Holland, etc. And writing about the run game, how effective it was. And then we go into the bye week, so I'll be watching McDaniel's stream tomorrow because I won't be back in Miami yet from Boston. But I got some other ideas. Might detail what Patrick Paul was telling me about his one start the week before. Maybe look at the rookies. Chop Robinson. Team could use some more contributions from him too, especially now that Jalen Phillips is out. So, got some bye week ideas too.
Yeah, those guys must be so raw and so behind on their technique that they're worried about putting him out there because Mohamed Kamara doesn't even see the light of day, bro.
Yeah, I even wrote this week. I mean, I was expecting that he would be one of the guys the Dolphins need to step up. And then, I mean, they just pick up Tyus Bowser from a practice squad, and immediately he's up over Kamara. So that's pretty telling there.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, follow him on Twitter at David Furones _. And, of course, catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel and doing his thing twice a week here with the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report. As always, David, thank you, sir. Have a fantastic week. We will catch up.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
You got it. There you go. Welt and Rayom, folks. We are dealing with storms right now, and then we've got Milton coming. So save this number, 954-966-4646. If you have any kind of water damage, wind damage, you know that roof damage with the wind starts at 40 miles an hour. So if you start seeing little brown spots or something like that in your roof, then that could be you may have an early leak there and you want to take advantage of it. Please call Welton Realm. They will send their adjusters, and then they will attack the insurance company for you. So please call them, 954-966-4646. If you don't need them now, that's fine. I hope you never need them. But if some kind of property damage happens to your home, your condo, please call Welton Rayom. Personal injury, call Welton Rayom. Criminal defense, bankruptcy, business owner claims, commercial litigation. They can help you in so many different areas. So save that number just in case. We still have a month left in this hurricane season, and you just never know. So call Welton Rayom or save the number, 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
All right, I haven't really looked at the scores. This is the first time I look at the scores. And, yeah, baby. Yeah. Buffalo sucks. They lost. I didn't know they lost to the Texans 23-20. I like it. Jags over the Colts 37-34. Commanders, when I'm watching the Dolphins, I'm really not paying attention to anything else. Commanders over the Browns, 34-13. Ravens over the Bengals in overtime, 41-38. Things are bad for the Bengals, bro. They are not a good team. Bears over the Panthers, 36-10. And the Jets, I saw that was going on before. That they lost to the Vikings 23-17. We've got the Cowboys and the Steelers tonight. Boring. Giants and Seahawks tied at 10 in the third quarter with 12 minutes left. Rams are leading the Packers 13-10 with 14 minutes left in the third. The 49ers are pounding the Cardinals 23-10, 11 minutes left in the third. And the Broncos leading the Raiders 13-10 with 7 minutes left in the third. That is what's going on right there in the NFL slate. All right, we got any super chats there? Sean Stanley, Ozzie Fisher, spot on, Big O. Coach elevates no one. Other huge issue, our star players do not elevate their games when we need them to. Zero accountability on this team. That falls on the coach and management. Yeah. Management can't escape from any of this. I know that. So, I mean, the coach is already a lost cause as it is. I don't really have a lot of hope for McDaniel, to be quite honest. I don't think I think they just hired, unfortunately, a guy that is not ready for this. And I don't know if he ever will be, to be quite honest. I'm not sure of that. I'm not a fan of his temperament. So, yeah, not a fan of it. All right, next up. It is Carlos. Big O, have you ever been to Universal Orlando? Of course, bro. A whole bunch of times. Why? By the way, every time I go, I love visiting Voodoo Donuts. Always got to have, not the big giant glaze. What do they call it? Like a Texas donut or whatever. No, just a regular glaze. They do a good job at Voodoo Donuts, I gotta say. But yeah, I go to Universal. I have not been to Universal since pre-pandemic. So I haven't been to Universal in, what is it, 5-6 years easily, something like that. I think the last time I went, I didn't go to Universal. I went for a concert at the House of Blues there, because I've gone to several concerts there. But yeah, I haven't been inside Universal in about 6 years. I want to say it was before the pandemic. So yeah, probably 2018 or something like that. It's been a while. Anything else? All right. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can also make a Bitcoin donation or Ethereum donation. We have the QR codes there also. You can make the donation, and we thank you as always. Oscar Rojas says, Big O, it looks like the front office had a stern talking with McNerd, because he did improve today on clock management, running the game, and passing the tight ends. You know, when he said, I told you this last week, when he said everything is on the table, I was wondering if somebody scolded his ass, but we'll see. Rosendo says, prefer they sign a reliable QB, prefer drafting other options. Yeah, but you don't draft just to draft one. So you got to draft one that you feel is actually going to be one. And if you start winning games, you're going to fall in the draft, and then that becomes an issue if you do get the best one or one of the better ones, and you may not, because you're not in the top 5. Once you get Tua back, you're going to start winning some games, and God forbid, I know you Tua haters don't want to hear this. Hell, you might win a lot of games. If everybody else does their damn job, you'll win a lot of games. Tua will look phenomenal. But other people have to do their jobs in order for your quarterback to look phenomenal. Josh Allen was sent to kindergarten today, but he can't come back out. Why? Did he play? I have no idea, dude. I don't know what happened. What happened with Josh Allen? You're going to tell me?
Well, he took a hit, and it looked like his body went limp, but I didn't see the whole play, so I don't know. It kind of cuts him off, and then he's back out like right after.
I had no idea.
So, but I haven't seen the whole play. I've only seen what's been on social media, so I don't know how, but it looks like his body, like his head hits the ground and he goes out.
Okay. When I get off, I'll go through the highlights of certain games so I can get a refresher on it and, try to figure shit out and see what went on. But like I said, I can only tell you scores because I have no idea what went on in these games.
Gus sent it to us on their X as well, too, the video.
Of him getting clocked?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. He has to play that way. He has to play crazy. It is what he is. You know what I'm saying? Now, Tua can't play like that because, his body can't do that. I would like to see the play calling stripped. Yeah, it's not going to happen, Ziggy. Many of you come up with that every week and you just torture yourselves. The guy's the head coach. He's not firing himself from the job he loves the most. He never really got to be an offensive coordinator. He called some running plays. He didn't call the offense. He called some running plays. Okay? So now he's calling the offense, and he can't call an offense. Do I want him calling the offense? No, I don't, to be quite honest. I'm with you, but I'm realistic. You have to fire him. That's how you get rid of him play calling. You fire his ass. And that's not going to happen either. They just re-signed him. They're all going to stay. They're all going to try to make this happen. And if they fail this year, they will go back to the drawing board and try to fix it for one more year. And then I think if it doesn't happen, then that's when Stephen Ross makes changes. I don't think he makes changes right now. I don't think he makes changes at the end of the year. I'm just telling you what it has been the MO overall. Okay. And it's not because I like the front office. Okay. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I can live with it. But again, I'll stand by this. Their biggest failure has been the coach. If they had a better coach, they would have a much better record and none of us would be complaining. They would be 4-1 or 3-2, and none of us, we'd all be happy. We'd be in the race. You know what I'm saying? But the coach has been their biggest problem, because I don't think the roster is as bad as people make it out to be. I think the coaching is as bad as everybody makes it out to be. And that's because, sadly, McDaniel looks like a beautiful human being. There's no doubt about that. Looks like a fantastic person. But on game day, he's an absolute buffoon. The shit that happens with his team, it's just a dumb football team. And it's hard. It's hard to watch. You know? It's hard to watch. And his press conferences, he tries so hard to think about what he wants to say. It is painful, bro. Painful. Painful. And he's definitely a guy you want to succeed, man. You know? Because he looks like a good person. But there's more to this than being a good person, unfortunately. Let's see. Josh Allen also had the lowest completion percentage for a QB with at least 30 pass attempts in the last 30 seasons. Yeah, he's not an accurate. He has to run. Like I say, he's not a passer. He's an athlete playing quarterback. That's Josh Allen, bro. But he has some balls, toughness. He has a knack for making some key throws. I will give him that. But he's not an accurate quarterback overall. He's just like Lamar Jackson, an athlete. Once in a while, they'll wow you. And they'll, 2 or 3 times a year, Josh Allen will look like a phenomenal passer. 2 or 3 times a year, Lamar Jackson will have a couple of those games that you'll be, Jalen Hurts 2 or 3 times a year. He'll have those games where he looks like a competent passer. But in the end, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, they are what they are. They're athletes playing quarterback. And more often than not, they're going to spray the ball around. And so, and you'll have with Lamar, you'll have your limited passing game that you'll play because he doesn't throw the whole tree. He can't. None of those guys have anticipatory skills. They're all see the break, throw the break because they have great arms. So that's what these athletes do. They will run because they need to run in order to be great quarterbacks. But they can't make a living from the pocket. But don't worry. 2 or 3 times a year, Josh Allen will do it. And you'll be able to talk shit about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts and all that. But more often than not, they'll be what they are, running quarterbacks. That's all. It's a broken record, dude. I see it all the time. Every single year. They all do the same thing. Let's see. Greg Salza, McDaniel got extended. Tua got extended. So there's no way anyone is going anywhere anytime soon. We ride with Tua and get some more talent in the draft next year and go get a QB in 2026. I don't know how many games you win. And, that's the kind of stuff, Greg, we can't predict because we don't know what position you're in the draft. Are there enough quarterbacks at that point that is worthy of taking? If you have a top 3 pick or something, then you're going to have a shot at one of the top quarterbacks. But if you don't, then you're waiting for the leftovers. And then you've got to hope that you like one of the leftovers. And so that's the part that's really hard for us to predict, Greg. But if we're going to be our typical Dolphins, where you win 7, 8, 9, 10 games, and you're middling, you're really never going to get a real quarterback. It's hard, Like we got lucky that this guy fell to us at 25, right? 25 it was, I want to say. But how does that happen, dude? That's not going to happen a lot. I know the Brady thing and all that. We can talk about Russell Wilson fell to Seattle in the 3rd round. So there are outliers of guys that, fall in the draft. And for us, this was our fall in the draft. It was a 1st round. So it's tough. That it's tough to predict the Dolphins being in that position, Greg, So we don't know. Tony Martinez, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. That is very nice of you. It says McChicken needs Tua. Tua doesn't need McChicken. That's proven now. That is etched in stone. I never want to hear about McDaniel making. And by the way, all those people, oh, McDaniel can put anybody else and he'll look great in this offense. Do you know how stupid you sound now? Those are the same people that hate Tua. Oh, anybody can play in this offense. You put anybody and they'll look great. With that coach now you're learning. Now, at least please admit, wow, I was really stupid for saying that. I didn't know McD was that bad. You have to admit that you're really, really dumb right now, right? You're like hot dog panhandle eating dumb, right? That's hot dog panhandle eating dumb. Right there. You idiots out there that said you can put anybody in this offense and McD will make him a star. You are hot dog panhandle eating dummies. That's right. You're with me. Okay? Yeah. Because that's just as stupid as eating a hot dog in the panhandle from a Dairy Queen. Saying that McD can make any quarterback look great in this offense. Now you know McD doesn't make anybody look good. Tua makes everybody look better. Big O, we should have kept AVG. I know that, man. But what are you going to do? It is what it is. They thought his foot injury was one that was going to, because it was kind of Liz Frank, and it was going to be tough for him. He was approaching 29, so they thought this was his, last contract. So I know that there were issues that there were rumblings and things that were concerns for them, and Minnesota took the chance, and it has paid off beautifully. Nobody's a bigger AVG fan than yours truly. I loved AVG from the second they drafted him. Anybody that watches the show knows. I used to fight with Poupart about AVG and with Omar about AVG because they didn't, especially Omar. He thought he wasn't a playmaker. Remember that? So I had to beat it into his head. The examples that he's a ball hawk. That was the term. That was, remember, Sean, ball hawk. I said, dude, he's a ball hawk. And Omar didn't go with it. And, eventually he got on board, but yeah, I love AVG, but what are you going to do? Happens. Let's see. What's wrong with hot dogs in the panhandle? Well, obviously that guy's new to the show. Phil Quinn says this one is on Greer. They signed Shaq Barrett instead. Yeah, but the Shaq Barrett thing, they end up making up for it because they ended up getting Agba. So what's the big deal with the Shaq Barrett thing? It became a blessing that he retired and you got Agba. So you ended up with a better player. That's dude, if you're going to pick on Greer, okay, if you guys want to be legit, right? Legit. Why do you re-sign McDaniel? If you're going to do shit like that, if you want to pick on Greer, then that's the kind of stuff that you the backup quarterback. Those are legit things that you can. The Shaq Barrett thing, you know what that is? You're a parrot that is repeating something that another either media member or somebody else posted, and it doesn't make any sense, but you're just repeating it. Because the Shaq Barrett thing became a blessing in disguise because they got Agba in his place, and he's been fantastic overall. So, not a big deal, the Shaq Barrett thing. There's the AVG thing. There's a lot more things that really stand out. Shaq Barrett became a blessing that he retired before it even became a problem. You got the money back, and then you paid less money for AVG for Agba than you did Shaq Barrett. But you'll leave that part out, right? You'll leave the part out that when they got the money back from Shaq Barrett, they spent less on Agba, but you'll leave that part out. I got you. Pick on the stuff that makes sense. Shaq Barrett makes no sense whatsoever. Nothing, because it never affected the team at all. Nothing. It made no impact. Here today, gone tomorrow, forgotten man. Agba was better. So, not sure. How many times did I say Agba would play well for this style of defense? That Agba would be better. Yes, you did. True Fin fan. You were on the Agba bandwagon, and he had a great camp too. You know, so Barrett wasn't over Van Ginkel. Who told you that, dude? The money's not even close. Barrett is a cost-cutting move like Agba because you have to pay others. Some other guy there said, don't pay Holland and pay AVG. That's a smart Dolphins fan. You saying Barrett over Van Ginkel, you're not a very smart Dolphins fan. Because the salaries don't even come close. They don't compare, nothing. The guarantees, the multi-years, it doesn't even come close. Shaq Barrett was a veteran fill-in for 1 year to get by. And that's what Agba is, a veteran 1 year to get by, because you have to go on the cheap to fill in for AVG, because you have to then pay a guy like Holland instead of AVG. So, like, I like the fan that sent in the one of the Holland. Well, maybe they shouldn't pay Holland. Okay, I love Holland, but at least the man, that's a competent argument. That's an intelligent argument. Barrett for AVG is not intelligent. It's stupid. It's ignorant. It lacks information and facts. So don't do it so you don't embarrass yourself. Now, if you're talking with somebody else that doesn't know anything like you, then, they'll repeat the same stupid shit. But there's a reason why they signed those guys. Those were cost-cutting moves because you couldn't pay any more than you did at that position already, because you were paying Brooks and you were paying Long. So they chose to go another way. Learn the game, understand the rules. Miami rarely hangs on to few great players they have and they find in their drafts. Actually, they've been hanging on to their guys. They just let go of some for whatever reasons they wanted to. But they are hanging on to their guys, right? So they did hang on to Austin Jackson. They did hang on to Tua. They're going to hang on to Holland. They're going to hang on to Waddle. Who else? These are all their draft picks. I'm not talking about Tyreek or Teron Armstead, but they have paid their own. You know what I mean? Now they're doing it. In the past, yeah, that was a thing, but now they're doing it. Now, the choice of not paying AVG, that can be criticized. The choice of not paying Robert Hunt, that could be criticized. But again, when you want to pay those guys, you have to not pay somebody else. So who's that somebody else? At least that gentleman there that threw out Holland, he made a case. Okay, I want AVG and not Holland. I can replace Holland, but I can't replace AVG. So that's if we're gonna talk. If we're going to have the conversation, let's do apples for apples and oranges for oranges. But you can't, Shaq Barrett for AVG. No, dude, that's not what happened. It's just stupid. Not sure if there's anyone out there that can really trade, that we can really trade for, though. Now, right now, there's nothing. Right now, you've got what you got, and you got to survive with whatever you have. Big O, great win. I'm joining the Air Force soon. Any advice? Yes. Buy Bitcoin. Not a financial advisor, but buy Bitcoin. That's all I would tell you. Buy Bitcoin. And when you get paid, since you're in the armed forces and maybe you can spend less than others to survive because they have paid for a lot of the other stuff for you, that extra money you get every month, put away some for Bitcoin. Put away some for Bitcoin. Put away some for Bitcoin. Get a cold storage wallet and stash it. I can't give you any advice about the military because I am not in the military, never have been in the military. So I am not going to comment on things I don't know about. But my one piece of advice, and my other advice would be, if you are a millennial, a Gen Z, don't buy a house. Don't ever buy a house. No. You guys are getting married? Rent your apartment for now. Buy a Bitcoin. Own an entire Bitcoin. Work your ass off to get a Bitcoin, and then sit back and wait a couple of years, and that Bitcoin will grow enough so you can go buy your house and pay for it and own it. Instead of slaving away for 30 plus years and paying all kinds of interest. Let the Bitcoin grow on its own and interest free. You don't have to pay anything. You keep it in a cold storage wallet. And when it grows to several $100,000, you can make your decision to get a house if you want. That would be my advice to all millennials and Gen Zs. Don't buy a house. You'll be paying that house forever when you could have bought several Bitcoins. And then those Bitcoins will turn into several houses. Okay? Something that'll be $1 million by 2030, probably more, but on a safe side, might be better off than buying a house. Just saying. There's a piece of advice for millennials and Gen Zs. You want your home? That's impossible to buy now. It's impossible to get credit and impossible to do all the things that you have to do. No problem. Buy a Bitcoin, a hell of a lot cheaper than any house out there, and it's going to grow faster than any property out there. There you go. That's my piece of advice for many out there. Okay? Many can use that advice. Sorry, Big O, but Tua is average, not good enough. The QB from Washington, that's a good QB. He's doing a terrific job, but he just started. So we'll see, talk to me in a couple of years. Because, Jalen Hurts was looking like the second coming. How's he looking now? Right? Watson was looking great. How's he looking now? Joe Burrow, hey, he looked phenomenal. Now he's suffered a few injuries. Not looking as good right now. Doesn't even stay healthy. So I get it, Julio Rene Garcia. You're what we call a prisoner of the moment. So you sway with the wind, baby. You just change with the times, So a lot of these young guys, hey, Trevor Lawrence was going to become the second coming. How's he looking now? So we'll see. We'll see. I hope Jaden Daniels, you know why? I root for the Washington organization. That fan base is like ours. They deserve better. And they've had shit for very long. It doesn't affect me because it's in another conference. But I want the Washington Commanders to do well. Because, man, I feel for that fan base because I feel like Dolphins and Commanders / Redskins fans are they feel the same kind of pain. We were royalty in the league, and now we're shit. So I'm happy. I hope Jaden Daniels works out for him. But it's only been a few games. You know what I'm saying, Julio Rene Garcia? It's only been a few games, dude. Relax. That you get excited about a lot of guys, and look what happens. So, we'll see. We'll see. Was a Navy SEAL. He never cracked, though. Always kept to himself. Oh, man. Waddle isn't a bust, but is he really a franchise? No, he's not. No, he drops too many passes to be a franchise. That's why last year I got on that rage with people because you idiots. Again, you are Julio Rene Garcia, prisoners of the moment. Oh, Tyreek and Waddle, the best ever in Dolphin history. And I lost my shit last year when you people try to say crap like that because you fall in love with some stats now And they're not even close to Clayton and Duper. Not even close to Clayton and Duper. Ask anybody, a real Dolphins fan, that watched Clayton and Duper's careers and watch what they've seen from these two guys, and not one of them will ever pick Tyreek and Waddle over Clayton and Duper. Not one. And if they do, they're idiots. They don't know anything about football. Real Dolphin fans, they watch Clayton and Duper. They don't remember all those drops. That shit didn't exist from Clayton. You don't drop Marino's passes, bro. Are you kidding me? That's funny. That's funny. You're going to drop Marino's passes. Who gives a shit about Mike McDaniel or Don Shula or the offensive coordinator or Gary Stevens, or I don't give a shit who it is. You don't want to drop Marino's passes. You didn't want to hear the shit from the guy because he was going to rip your ass right there on the field. And guess what? He wasn't throwing to you for the rest of the game. You were done. So you think Clayton and Duper, Marino would lose his shit with Waddle and Tyreek? Would lose it. Marino will never tell you that. No one can ever ask him that. It will never be a subject because it's just a silly hypothetical at this point in time. But let me tell you something as a person that's lived most of the Dolphin existence. Okay? Tyreek and Waddle. Oh, my God. Tyreek would be this big by the time Marino's done with him. This big. This big. Okay? And he'd light up Waddle like a Christmas tree. Okay? You see how Waddle's nice and quiet and all that? He'd be stewing because Marino would undress his ass right there on the field and on the sidelines. Okay? Those two guys could never play with Dan Marino. They drop too many passes to be in Dan Marino's presence. Ask any Dolphins fan that lived it. Tyreek and Waddle would struggle playing with Marino. Bet your life on that one. Bet your life on that one. Okay? If you didn't live it, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But those guys could never play with Marino. I can't imagine what goes on in the box when Tyreek drops passes. And I would love to be right there next to Marino when he drops passes in that box. He must be mother effing his ass left and right. And Waddle too, by the way. Okay? I mean, bet your life on that. Okay? So for those of you out there, you talk about Tyreek and Waddle. Tyreek and Waddle couldn't play with Marino. Yeah, I dropped a bomb on you. Like last week, I told you, key moment, who do you want, Oronde Gadsden or Tyreek Hill catching a ball? Whoever watched it, you know what you're going to say. You know what I mean? Oronde Gadsden catches shit with one hand. That Raiders game is like, are you kidding me? Come on, man. That's how funny. Tyreek and Waddle would be crying like little boys in the locker room playing with Dan Marino. Oh, my God. Either that or they get their shit straightened out quickly. Put it that way. Yeah. That's how bad it is compared to how it used to be. That's how bad what you're watching, how bad it is. I know you guys find some of you out there because this is what you grew up with, so you find it acceptable, right? But in my era that I grew up with, that wasn't acceptable. You know, it's kind of like watching college basketball now. you know, you grew up with what you've seen the last 25 years. You think it's acceptable. You know what I mean? But when I grew up watching Michael Jordan and Patrick Ewing and David Robinson, all these people play 3 and 4 years, I had real stars in college basketball. You know, it's different. It's not acceptable. What I watch now is Mickey Mouse. And when I watch Tyreek and Waddle compared to Clayton and Duper, Mickey Mouse, dude. Mickey freaking Mouse. It's not even close. It's not even close. And if you ever want to put Tyreek and Waddle in the Ring of Honor, I hope it's on the practice field. Okay? Yeah, no, we ran out of space. We got to put it over in the practice field. Don't put them close to Clayton and Duper, please. Don't even put them in the same sentence. Don't mention them in the same breath. Don't even talk about them at the same level. They're not. Rest in peace, Merck. Tyreek and Waddle aren't in the same block, in the same neighborhood, in the same city, in the same state, in the same country. They're not in the same world. They're not in the same stratosphere. They're not in the same universe of Clayton and Duper. Okay? So there's food for thought. This week, food for thought. Tyreek and Waddle couldn't play with Marino. Last week, Tyreek, he doesn't have hands of Arande. So if you want one catch in one moment, in the biggest moment, who do you want it from, Arande or Tyreek? So, you know, let's pump the brakes. Let's not be prisoners of the moment like our friend Julio Rene Garcia, king prisoner of the moment. Oh, Tyreek and Waddle, they're the best ever. They're better than Clayton and Duper. Yeah, newbie. I'm glad you just started watching Dolphin football the last 10 years. Beer noob. Tua's causing all the hurricanes with space lasers. I would agree with that. I'm telling you. I saw what's it called? Green. She's on it with those space lasers. She's got it going. I remember Poupart saying anyone can pass in this offense. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember if Poupart said it, but I know lots of you have said, "Oh yeah, McDaniel can make anybody look good," and that's, you know, that's ridiculous. If anyone false started and went in legal motion once, Marino would give that person the look. Yeah, it's something that you don't, you know, like even us older fans, we don't think about that. Older fans did not think about what I just said. They agree with me, but they didn't think about that. Now they can think about it and they can go, holy shit, he's right. Tyreek and Waddle could not play with Marino. They dropped way too many passes. I watch Marino. You can't drop his passes. If you dropped his passes, it just wasn't pretty, bro. It wasn't pretty. You know what I'm saying? And it's just that. And it's pretty simple. And we watch Tyreek drop passes after pass after pass, right? And that's why I just wanted to have some fun last week. I said, in a key moment, you need one guy to make this play in the end zone. Is it Arande or Tyreek? And yeah, Tyreek is 100 times more talented than Arande, but I'm just asking you for one catch. 99% of Dolphins are going to pick Arande Gatz if they watch both guys. Obviously, if you're too young and you didn't watch Arande, and you won't appreciate Arande. Because Arande wasn't a guy that was about, you know, the supreme athleticism or anything like that. It was he did have athleticism in the air, but he had just a gift of his body control and his hands. Very few people can do the shit that Arande would do, man. You know, and his hands were some of the best I've ever seen in my life. He doesn't have to be the greatest receiver, but he has some of the greatest hands I've ever seen in my life. There's no doubt about that. I see Arande's son doing good at Syracuse. He's a receiver also. Yes, sir. Another big receiver. Let's see. Big O, I can argue that Super Duper was a better deep threat and more reliable to catch it than Hill. God, yes. Both Duper and Clayton are more reliable than Tyreek Hill. Both Duper and Clayton are more reliable than Jalen Waddle. It's not even close. Okay? Really, it's just not. By the way, we're going to be there Friday at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and they've got a happy new model year going on right now, folks. We still have some 2024 models, so hurry up. Get a great deal right now at the RDX. You can get it for $379 a month. The ZDX, you can get electrified. It's a beautiful thing. It's got 358 horsepower, single motor, Apple CarPlay, dual zone climate control, leather heated and ventilated seats, premium sound system. You can get it for $479 for all approved leases, and it gets over 300 miles to the charge. I believe it's around 320 miles. The Integra, the 2025 Integra is in. Man, that model, it is beautiful, the Integra, and you can get it for $339 a month, and they've got 0.9% financing up to 72 months. I tell you all the time, if you own or lease an Acura, please get on down there, go check it out. Jordan Ferber, Mike Chan. Mike Chan just does a great job running that. If Mike McDaniel was half if he was half the coach that Mike Chan is, leading the service center at Craig's Inns, Acura Pembroke Pines, Dolphins would be Super Bowl contenders. Maybe what we should do is fire Mike McDaniel and hire Mike Chan to take over for Mike McDaniel. I think I'm onto something. I've watched Mike Chan for years now. He does an awesome job. I've watched Mike McDaniel for a couple of years, and he does a really shitty job. So I'm just saying. So get on down there, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest Acura dealership in the world, baby. It is Craig's Inns, Acura of Pembroke Pines. Thank you. All right. Let's see what else. We all knew McDaniel couldn't coach last year. We're a year too late on firing him. Todd, I'm with you there, but you know that a lot of people, not everybody was on board with, I guess, you and me. So a lot of people weren't willing to give up on McDaniel, you know. So I was kind of convinced by last year, and I said, you know, he's on thin ice this year, and I'm good already. I'm done. I've seen enough from McDaniel. I don't think this is ever going to get much better, to be quite honest. And I don't think we have time for it, you know. So what are we going to do? Your opinion and assessment on Ramsey's play so far. I say he's been inconsistent. Yeah, he has. Jalen Ramsey? Inconsistent. Yeah. For what you're paying him and all that, inconsistent. No doubt about it. It's the only way I can put it. Yeah. Yeah. All right, folks, we're out of here. We thank all of you out there as always. I've got to take care of the voice. I've gone pretty long. How long's the show been so far? How long have we gone here?
Only 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Yeah, that's a little longer than I thought I would even go. I didn't even know it was 2.5 hours. All right. Thank you all. If you send in a super chat, remember you can always make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. You can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, and we always love that because that's a perpetual donation. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. You all be good out there. We thank Sean Stanley. We'll see you all tomorrow. And I can't wait to see him again. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m., same time, same place. Not too much shaking. I don't want another concussion. Same bat channel.
You've been listening to our Dolphins post-game show with Big O. The broadcast is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, RM Contractors, Toyota of Hollywood, Haineswear, Sloman's Home Security, BigCheeseMiami.com, EJD Construction. The broadcast is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley. Thank you for supporting the platform and our fantastic sponsors. Go Fins!